please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to all. We have the agenda before us. Do we have any corrections, additions, or deletions from the agenda? Okay, hearing none. First item is unfinished business.
Thank you. I have a resolution for payment to a cut above tree service for $2,300 for 2855 Easton Street Northeast.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes. That's the end of unfinished
Yes.
business.
New business.
Item number 1 is just a notice that the August 8th trustee meeting will be held at the Central Fire Station, same time due to the special election.
Perfect. Alrighty. And that takes us to the sheriff's report. We kind of changed the order up on this a little bit to make it more in line with the department head report, so we weren't excluding it.
I feel left out.
All right, you never do.
Sergeant Vaughn noticed an error on the first page that's denoted compared to 2021. It is compared to 2022. The changes. So for June of 23, 1,005 calls for service of a little over 4%. Crashes at 46. Injury crashes at 13. So significant increase from 2022. 77 alarms, 150 traffic stops, 88 citations, 61 arrests, 167 vacation security checks. For the detective, there were 9 cases assigned. Closed cases, 4 thefts, 2 sex offenses, and 1 missing person. You have your comparison charts for year to year. Questions?
No?
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, for the record, Trustee Scott Haas is absent due to a work-related, he had a work-related, was it a conference? Something like that.
Something like
Yeah,
that,
whatever. So,
And Rob Steinberg.
and Rob Steinberg, who is on vacation. Okay, then that takes us to the fiscal officer's report. Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a resolution to authorize payment of pending warrants in the amount of $106,311.03.
So moved.
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a resolution to authorize the payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo? Fiscal Officer number 4 is the financial report.
Okay. Questions for Tom? See him later.
And Fiscal Officer number 5 is the investment report. The interest income for June, $37,273.39.
So, good. Okay, again, any questions? See Tom later. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Great, that takes us to Fire Chief Schallenberger.
Thank you. Item number 1 is our monthly report. Weather a little better, we'll be doing a little more outside activities, water movement and burn camp, etc.
Nice. Burn camp looked like it was pretty well attended.
Yes, and I think there's 31 different fire departments.
Looks
Wow.
like it, yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, anything specific, see Chuck? Number 2.
Item number 2 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees And whereas the Plain Township zoning official and Plain Township Fire Department have conducted an on-site inspection of the property located at 4212 34th Street Northeast, parcel number 520025, has determined the building to be located on said property insecure, unsafe, and structurally defective or unfit for human habitation.
I will move on fire department number 2.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize purchase and payment of one 2023 Chevrolet 550 Highliner ambulance from Lifeline and P Fund Superior Sales per state term contract 800884.
So moved?
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? So we kind of lucked out on this one, really, didn't we?
Yes, we found a chassis that was kind of not being, it was ordered for a different fire department. They were unable to close on it, so we were able to kind of put it all together to buy one.
So we won't be waiting on a chassis forever.
No, it's still a year out for
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
at least, but we're not 2 years out waiting
Yeah.
for the chassis.
Yep. All right, that is a lucky break. And like you say, it is a 23.
Yeah,
Perfect. Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. Thanks, Chuck. That takes us to road. JP?
Thank you. Road item number 1 is the monthly report.
Again, just make sure you pass along. Appreciate those guys doing the work up at the park, getting ready for the monuments. That's gonna be beautiful, that transition. They had some good ideas. I mean, it's just,
I'm excited.
those guys take a lot of pride in their work.
Yeah, they do.
And, you know, it's,
And,
You
you know,
can
shout
tell,
out to,
yeah.
shout out to Drew, because
Yeah.
he kind of spearheaded that, so.
Yeah.
I know the veteran thing, you
Yeah.
know, it really brings home.
oh,
with him,
absolutely.
so-
And- Yeah, so, yeah,
Kudos
just
to those guys.
pass that along. Anything significant, JP, to point out?
You know, just the work order again.
Okay,
628 the month of June compared to, you know, the previous 2 years.
Okay.
Seen a spike there, so,
yeah.
you know, just kudos to the crew. They're
Well, we have a lot of things going on
Yeah,
right
we
now,
do.
so
Lot
everybody's
more.
busy.
Yep, absolutely.
Very good. All right, number 2.
Thank you. Road item number 2 is a resolution to post temporary no parking signs on both sides of the listed streets. This will be for all Pro Football Hall of Fame proceedings.
So moved?
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Yeah, just real quick, I'd like to add, myself, Eric, and Chris Neisel from Kent Township, we met here about a week or so ago, and Carver was in there. Probably by next meeting, I know 17th Street, that's split between Canton and Plain, we're having some issues. We've received several phone calls of cars parking on the roadway. They are included in this temporary, but I'll probably be bringing more of a permanent solution at next meeting. So I know the residents on both sides are putting out cones, especially with all the events and mostly those sporting events. Because there's a lot there and they charge $15, so instead of charging 15, they just park. And that is a narrow road, like Carver said, so
Good.
we're gonna look to move something more permanent, especially on that. So we've been monitoring on the weekends, going up, taking some pictures, but I know they're pretty frustrated, so.
Yeah, I'm sure their law director will help you with that as well.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I hear he's a good guy.
Good. Number 3, I'm sorry. Oh,
Thank
did
you.
we vote on that? No, we have not. Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. Now, we can do number 3.
Thank you. Road item number 3 is a resolution to authorize OHM advisors to make the application on behalf of Plain Township to the OPWC to assist in the funding of the Orion Street Storm Sewer Project.
So moved?
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Road item number 4 is a resolution to authorize purchase of material installation and payment to Advanced Industrial Roofing for the repair of the roof over the Mechanics Bay Garage.
So moved?
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 5 is a resolution to authorize payment to Western Branch Diesel for the surface repair and parts on labor unit number 5, dump truck.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 6. Before I present, I'd like to say this is the option number 1 for my presentation back in May, at the end of May there, that I presented in the work session. So I'd like to present a resolution to the board to proceed with a 1.5 mil replacement with a 0.5 mil increase.
For purpose of discussion, I will move on this resolution.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. So, obviously, you made the presentation. We had all the material. We've had an opportunity to discuss each one individually with you. We talked about the good, we talked about the bad, we talked about initially thinking that maybe combining them was the best. And I will say that for me, at least for me anyhow, I think it's best that we wait to combine them. I think the environment and climate out there with what is changing for how we make presentations on levies, and, you know, residents that are paying attention are familiar with old language, and they're gonna read this new language and something's gonna look different to them, but it's basically saying the same thing. It's just a different way of saying it, and that's, you know, and I just think it would be, for me, too difficult to try to explain how we're gonna combine the levies in addition to how we're gonna follow the law now in how we are, or what we are able to say to promote the levy. And, you know, I just think the timing of that right now is, it's too early to try that. That's just me.
I agree. He's spot on along the same sentiments on that. And I discussed it with you yesterday about the same thing, so.
And I mean, I think in one-on-one discussions and in looking at everything, it is imperative, if we are going to continue to pave, because as we know, our goal 3 years ago was 17 miles. We did 10 this year because we had to stay within that budget that we had. You know, we had our fingers crossed that, you know, when it goes out, we're going to be, we knew we weren't going to get 17, but we were really disappointed we only got 10.
Correct.
So if we are going to stay, we're realizing based on those cost increases, our goal is to try to make those streets maintain on a 10-year cycle. I don't think that's realistic anymore, but, you know, maybe we push that out to a 12 or a 15-year cycle, because we all know that's why our streets are so good, is because we're not rebuilding them.
Exactly.
You know, because, you know, they start breaking apart, cracking, freezing and thawing, and then by that time, now you gotta go in, if you're gonna replace the street, you gotta basically rebuild the whole street. Where what we're doing right now, you know, we go in, we scarf it, we put a nice coat on top, it lasts for 10 years. And if our residents are comfortable with that, then to at least keep up, to be able to continue paving. I think we see these increases as a necessity.
Absolutely.
That's just me.
You know, in my talks with Stark County, they said, you know, expect a 5 to 10% at least next year on the paving, on the asphalt. So, you know, $2 million budget might bring you 11 miles next year. We really don't know, but obviously they're not gonna take it from $87 a ton down to 55, what we've been paying the last 7, 8 years.
And this
Yeah.
levy is for paving.
That's strictly, this does not include any salaries.
Yes, correct.
It's strictly for the reconstruction, resurfacing of Plain Township roadways. And, you know, we take pride in our roads and we've been aggressive on our paving, but yeah, this is just to maintain and keep our heads above
And
water.
we're increasing with our housing development, so we have more
Yeah,
roads
Tom
coming.
Tom just gave me another
Yeah.
one. We're gonna add another 6 or 7 streets with 102 lots off Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, when you talk mileage, you know, we're increasing. You know, we added 3 miles there in 2020, and we're looking to add,
Yeah, because we're 174-ish.
yeah, 175.
Yeah.
But probably gonna be around 180 here within the next 2 years. So,
Yeah, if you think 180 and how many miles we do a year.
Yeah.
so that pushes it back, that's, you know,
That's what I'm saying.
so.
So, I just think just for my opinion, and Brooke has already basically said the same thing. I think right now, our goal is to at least get a levy passed and not muddy the waters with, combining, and then this millage will be this, and it's
Yeah.
just easier to say, here's what we wanna do, and here's why.
We don't
I'm
want
not
to
even
confuse
sure.
our residents.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure legally you can say if it passes, we're gonna
Yeah,
drop
well,
the other levy.
That's,
Because you
exactly.
can't say what happens if it doesn't pass, so.
You know what, that's an interesting point. I never even thought about that. That's an interesting point.
And I do wanna say, although Scott's not here, he's been brought up to speed and is very positive towards this, the 1.5 and the 5 mil.
Oh,
He's not
okay,
here to vote, but
good.
he's fully up to speed like the rest of you are, and was
Good.
very positive towards this.
Okay. Yeah, because, obviously, and we have discussed combining these for a long time, but just for me, again, I hate to keep repeating, but I just think timing is wrong for them.
I support it.
Okay, anything else? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
JP, thanks, you've done a lot of work on this, spent a lot of time with us, kind of going over things, and Lisa has, and Eric has. I mean, it's all new language to you, too, so, we've done a lot of work on it, I appreciate it, thanks.
And then you have to file with the Board of Elections.
And who's doing that?
I will go with JP and show him how to do
All
it.
right, you have the other two documents that go with it, right?
The certification and then the request for the
You got it.
certification.
Yep,
Yeah.
perfect. Great.
Perfect.
You'll need both of those, the
Yep.
original.
Okay, that takes us to zoning, Mr. Ferrara.
Thank you, sir. Item number 1 is a monthly report.
See some tall grass there. However, just from looking at things, I think you guys are kind of taking care of things before they become a problem.
We've got a pretty good handle
Yeah.
on what's coming up.
Very good. Okay, number two is proof positive that you're handling.
Item number 2 is the resolution to declare item A as a nuisance abatement.
So moved.
Second's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thanks, Tom. That takes us to parks. Rob Steinberg is on vacation. Are you doing his?
I will be doing
Perfect.
his, yes.
Thank you.
Number 1 is the Parks Report. I do want to point out, if you look at 114 hours of soccer practice, 131 games, 56 hours of baseball practice, 25 baseball games, our fields are super, super busy.
Yes, sir.
Our Parks Department does a great job.
Speaking of parks and our, the pickleball courts, Robert, I want to thank you for the article in the
It's a
paper.
great article.
Yes.
That was a great article, kind of put it in perspective, everything was accurate, got out to our citizens, and, we're excited about it, so I appreciate you doing that article, because, we're pretty excited they're coming, so,
With a
thank
catchy
you.
tagline.
Yeah,
Thank you, and I appreciate Rob making himself available to answer
Yeah.
my questions.
perfect.
Item number 2 is a resolution to authorize purchase and payment to Deere and Company for a stand-behind zero-turn mower in the amount of $7,665.37.
So moved,
Second?
it's been moved and seconded, discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a motion to list bids for the Diamond Park barn roof replacement at Diamond Community Park.
So moved.
Second, it's been moved and seconded, discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution to award the bid to Master Renovations at a cost of $231,236.
So moved,
Second?
been moved and seconded, discussion,
Yeah, just remember, this is a reimbursement grant, so we'll be fully reimbursed for this expenditure, and it came in lower than we expected, so our
No.
grant is for 300,000. We
Yes.
may have another 70,000 to look if there's something that we could
Yes,
do this
upgrades
cycle.
or something there, structural or whatever we need. Perfect. Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 5 is a resolution to sign the contract for the Diamond Park barn roof replacement.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Item number 6 is a resolution to authorize the Parks Director to sign contracts for the amphitheater.
So moved?
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Yeah, they were coming to me, and really Rob is the one who's working all the contracts, he knows the details. I was
Correct.
not comfortable signing when I'm not in that, and it is more appropriate for him to sign those.
Yeah, perfect. Anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And I have a 7A and B. 7A is to enter into the attached contracts with TSC Entertainment as attached. A is for the Rock Parade, B is for AM Gold Yacht Rock.
Let me see here. Are they individual?
Yeah, it's an A.
Okay, so I will move on. Parks 7A.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes. And then I will move on Parks 7B.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
we did go online and look at that.
Listen, I love some Yacht Rock, so
Yeah, I know.
I will be purchasing it,
Yeah.
well, I'll be working it, but
Yeah.
I love Yacht Rock. Yeah, both of those groups look amazing.
Yeah. And number 8.
Number 8 is a resolution to authorize payment to Rice's Landscape for playground mulch in the amount of $4,943.50.
So moved?
Second, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
This is for the playground right behind us at the amphitheater.
Boy,
I'm
second.
getting so excited about
That-
it.
Which,
Yeah.
remember, that playground was gotten by a grant.
That is
from
correct.
Division.
Between this and the,
That-
oh my gosh, with the pickleball and then we got the barn being renovated, we have so
Parks
much
are
going on, the
hopping.
veterans.
Yep. It's, I mean, like I say, there's a lot of moving parts right now. And these guys are all busy, and, you know, again, I just appreciate so much that our department heads are collaborating with each other and communicating with each other, because it's almost like bang, bang, bang. Things are, you know, and we're getting things done, and it's because of that that we're getting things done. Captain Carver, same thing. You know, any issues that we have with that integration, I mean, you know, it's just, we didn't always have that.
No, he's here every day.
Yeah.
Every day Captain
Yeah.
Carver comes in to see what's
Yeah.
going on, what he can do, how he can help.
So,
And I think it helps when the board gets along so well and they can work so well together because everything gets accomplished. We are truly a team.
so, did we vote on that? Roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes, all right.
I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Mulch.
And that's the end of the Parks
Yeah.
report.
So, nothing from law director, no communications, public speaks. Anyone in the audience? Welcome League of Women Voters. Thank you for being here. So that takes us to the approval of the minutes for June 27th, and I will move for their approval.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes, and I will move for adjournment at 6:24 PM.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Looks like you're going better.
I am feeling better.
Good.
Yeah, you heard me at the last meeting. It was awful.
Hey, you went to a period, yeah, just when you were out for a period.
I had COVID.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, and Maryland.
And then my secretary had
Are you
COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Are you still on?
I'm still exhausted.
Wow.
And I'll wake up in the middle of the night, hacking my guts out, but not during the day. But just exhausted and heavy.
Wow.
Fluid must be draining when it's.
It is, yeah.
Hopefully you'll be back pretty soon,
Yes.
recover pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah.